What's good, guys? Today I'm going to talk about the importance of creating assets. Now, in other words, the importance of you can't buy assets, you can create them, okay? I'm sure what are assets? Assets are things that make you more money than it costs you to buy them, or things that generate positive cash flows, basically. They bring you resources and money. That's an asset. It improves your life, improves your position financially or otherwise. That's what an asset is. Now, what does that mean? There's two ways to get an asset. I mean, you can either, if you're rich, you got an endowment, your daddy was Rockefeller, whatever, you can basically go about buying an asset, whether it's a building, it's a business, a going concern, or it's something like a trademark or a patent. It could be a song, it could be a library of music like the Beatles catalog. It could be almost anything as long as it generates money, guys. As long as it makes you money. That's an asset. But what if you can't afford to get an asset? You don't have the endowment fund. Your daddy ain't nobody that went to Harvard. You didn't go to Princeton either. You ain't go to Oxford or Cambridge. You didn't go to Stellenbosch in South Africa, Rhodes, or none of that. And you're in a position where you're now thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do? Well, you can actually create an asset. You can create an asset in many ways. You could create an invention that has a patent attached to it that allows you to be able to make money from the exploitation of that patent, either directly by you using it or by giving somebody else access to it. Consider the guy who invented Coca-Cola or the Coke formula. For instance, when he invented that, I'm sure it seemed like a really bad idea. The stuff looks like engine oil. It does not look like something that anybody would want to drink, but yet it became really valuable. And I'm sure people told him when he started out that idea, like, people are gonna drink that. Looks like engine oil. Tastes like something we haven't never tasted before, and you honestly think that's a great idea. You stupid as hell. You better go back to university school, or you better go back and fix your head, because that's a dumb idea. I'm sure the Wright brothers were told that you guys are terribly wrong. You think that something that's heavier than air is going to fly. You guys have been too much on the mushrooms and the moonshine, and you need to get the hell out of here, because you're absolutely wrong about that idea. But you know what happened next? They start a revolution that leads to the world air travel we get today. But the point is, your head can unlock your wealth. There might be ideas in your head, whether it's, look around on YouTube. All these people, their YouTube channels, look in Spotify, looking on iTunes, wherever. Those are people's assets that they've created by singing in a band. They've created by recording their voice, whether singing, rapping, whatever. They've recorded themselves giving advice, talking about their lives, showing you experiences. All that is the act of creating an asset. An asset can be a picture that you paint, a photograph that you take. It can be a design that you make. It's all up to you. You can create so many assets in so many different ways. You just have to find an asset that actually, or an object or something that people demand. That is, there are people who are willing to buy it and people who are able to buy it. They both have the desire and the means to buy what you're creating. That's what you need to find, because once you get that, people are more than happy to jump in to give you the money that you wish to have, whether it's $1 million, 10 million, 100 million. If your idea is good enough, just ask Jeff Bezos. His idea was more than good enough. Ask the founders of Facebook, Zuckerberg, and ask them. They created an idea from here to their skills to making themselves billionaires, because they took an idea and they made it valuable, and they showed its demand to the world and created systems that allow it to be exploited. And you can do the same. You just have to sit down and think to yourself, what can I create? What are my talents? What are my abilities? Pastor Jakes is a very inspirational, motivational individual. Plus, at the same time, he has the ability to inspire and help people be cemented in their religious beliefs. And that is an asset he's created from his stewardship or his study of biblical principles of Christianity, and of being that experience of being in the church, as well as understanding motivation and the challenges that people face. That is an asset he's created. And you can turn yourself into an asset. Look at it. Look at the Kardashians. Each one of them is an asset on their own, right? They've managed to turn themselves into assets as individuals, and people look after that celebrity value. That's what it is. Celebrity is an asset that you create by making yourself famous or popular by doing something that people like to see or enjoy seeing or being exposed to. And because of that, you can generate income by being able to go online, and people, the number of viewers that come on there, people can put advertisements attached to the places that they can view your content or view you, or people pay to come see you in the form of a singer, a ballerina, an orchestra master, whatever it is, a maestro, it doesn't matter. People love to pay to see what you do or to have what you provide. That can be many different forms. So if you're finding it a challenge, you're thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about my life? How am I going to make something of my life? Consider creating an asset. If you can't afford to buy a car dealership, you can't afford to buy a hotel, you are not that kind of person who's inherited millions of dollars or billions, or you don't have a trust fund, and you're not a person who has vast sums of money. Consider that some of the ideas in your head, whether it's a novel or whatever, could be valuable, could make you money. Now, another thing to consider when it comes to this is that when you're creating an asset, do not expect people to line up to tell you how great what you're doing is. I can guarantee you, from Mark Zuckerberg to the guy who invented Coca-Cola to the McDonald's franchise when it was being created, all that stuff was met with somebody saying, really? What a silly idea. Go back and get yourself a job like everybody else. Go become an accountant, a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, and stop wasting our time with nonsense about FedEx and a company that you want to call FedEx. What kind of name is that? Oh, TBW. What? TWA? Or what? A lot of the times, your ideas are going to sound stupid. Nobody in your family most likely would never have done anything like this. Your father was not even illiterate, and you think you're going to be a novelist. There are going to be people like that. But you can be a Tom Clancy. You can be a Robert Ludlum. You can be the next great writer, an Hemingway, if you simply understand that most of the time when it comes to creating assets, you're going to be the first individual in your family sometimes to ever create an asset, a patent, a trademark, a copyright. You're going to be the first of it. You're going to be the first one to ever do a broadcast medium channel, doing stuff on YouTube or doing stuff on Spotify. You're going to be the first one to sing, the first one to farm, whatever it is. You are going to be the first, and you are going to be faced by opposition. People who don't see your vision, don't understand your dream, or have known you for so long that they don't understand that you have the power to choose a path different from the one that they think you should be on based on what they know about you. You are a changing entity. You're not fixed. And that is something they need to understand, but a lot of people won't. They'll be like, suddenly he wants to be a computer buffin. How the hell? He wants to own an electric car company called Tesla. Who drives electric cars? Do you understand? It's not going to be straightforward and easy. Next, it's not going to be the first time you do it and you're going to succeed. Chances are going to fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before things actually get to a point where you succeed. Failure at the first point, or things not going right, or they're not working out, does not mean that you will not get there. You got to keep creating assets for as long as you can, when you can, and you got to keep trying to make it better. You might write a great novel right now that will not sell this year, next year, the year after that, 5 years from now, because the market conditions are just not right for your novel to come out. Maybe there's a saturation of novels about spongy characters that live under the sea, and your book goes nowhere for now. But at some point in time, the opportunity does open up, or maybe the first iteration of the book that you write is not the best, so you gotta keep on improving it and making it better until the day that it is able to earn you that income. Or you might be one of those people that unfortunately passes it on to your son as a book, as a manuscript that they in turn turn into a valuable asset. Look at, for instance, at Tolkien, and in terms of Lord of the Rings, he himself is no longer here, but his heirs have definitely benefited incredibly from the fact that his stories around the Lord of the Ring universe, the language he created, the stories and characters he created, are able to be exploited forever in perpetuity by his heirs, as long as they don't sell away the rights to it, right? So you can do the same. You can leave a book to your son and he can improve it and end up making it into a great movie or a web series or a Netflix series in the future, or whatever replaces Netflix in 10, 20 years from now. He could be able to have an asset from the day he's born that he can exploit. So it's very important you look at it that way as well, that if you've got a song in you, you've got a book in you, you've got a painting in you, you've got a patent in you, create it, because you may not be able to get the value out of it right now, but your son might be, your daughter may be, your great-great-grandson may be able to take that patent that you created 400 years ago, 100 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and turn it into something incredibly valuable. He might not have seen it that way, but you found a way to make it valuable. And also on top of that, the one thing about assets that you can create that is so important is that, let's say I make this video right now. In 5 years, if this YouTube doesn't blow up or online video streaming services don't blow up, you can still watch this video. And I might be sleeping at the time that you're watching this video, but this video is still working for me while I ain't doing anything but sleeping. Basically, that's the beauty of assets. Once you write the book, once you create the paintings, once you sing the songs, once you make the movie, once you design the t-shirt clothing line, once you've created the thing, it has the ability to work for you for the rest of its life. Basically, once it's out there in the system, once it's there being worked on, reiterated and improved. Consider Mazda, consider Mercedes, consider BMW, consider Ford. These are assets that were created with a lot of energy to begin with. And then they've just continually kept up with the needs and demands of this population as it changes over time and affluence, right? It's the same thing for you. Once you create that book, you can create 10 different iterations of it. Once you create the first one that takes you 6 months to write, you can keep on working on it to improve it or create different versions of it. Look at Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Imagine how far he's gone with that based on simply writing one book. It's working for the rest of his life. It's working for his children. It's working for his wife. It's created so many other products. Look at Tony Robbins or Anthony Robbins. He wrote one book called Awaken the Giant Within, and it kicked off a whole cascade of benefits. And he wrote more books. Same thing for Miles Monroe, even T.D. Jakes or Joel Osteen. It's up to you to create the initial asset. And sometimes that initial asset will not prove its value that fast. It takes time sometimes to gain traction. It's like the break-even point in business, where you got your income overcomes your expenses, fixed and variable. That part, it takes time. So do not freak out if you wrote a novel 1 year ago and it's not a bestseller. It takes time. And the amount of time you leave it, you create it and go back to it and keep improving it, and you keep on writing even more novels, eventually, if you're passionate, if you keep on paying attention to market demand and supply and to the needs and interests of people, and have develop an amazing talent in finding unique perspectives to bring to the world, chances are you will succeed. And once you've written that book, I guarantee you that one book, those 2 books, those 3 books will work for the rest of their lives to feed you, to take care of you, to take care of your wife, to take care of your children. And that's what you've got to understand, that creating assets puts you in a position to have something you can use that works for you even when you're sleeping, works for you even when you're not working. It is able to generate income, to generate returns that you can use to improve your life. And if you can do that, if you have that talent, if you have that skill, wherever you are in the world, I say exploit it. Work it like a slave. Make sure that that book goes out there to do something good for you. It may open doors for new opportunities that you weren't aware of. It may open opportunities for yourself, for your wife, for your children. You never know until you've done it. So do not give up on that novel. Do not give up on that song. Do not give up on that dancing. Do not give up on that painting. Do not give up on that lecture series. Do not give up on writing the algorithm for that software. Do not give up on that patent. Do not give up on that invention. Do not give up on that pitch of a new business type and process. Don't give up on it, because that might be the key asset that allows you to buy the freedom from having to go to work every day at a job that you may not like, or in a business that you don't want to be in because you simply need money. That might be your financial freedom. So I suggest you create an asset. And I am taking my own advice. I am also creating assets. And in due time, we will talk about them. But I hope that you go out there and you create assets that do work for you, that work for you when you're sleeping, work for you when you're eating breakfast, work for you when you don't feel like working except sitting in the sun and reading a novel. You need those kind of assets, and you do have the power to build them. You do have the energy to bring together people to collaborate with you, to believe in your ideas, and to go forth and create value for other people that really makes their lives better, faster, simpler, more productive and happier. So you don't have to think about it from the point of view of saying, "Oh, I don't know any. I don't. What does it mean to create an asset?" Just think of something that will make people's lives better. Whether it gives them more excitement, it gives them more pleasure from eating, more pleasure physically, helps them get fitter, helps them get healthier, helps them save money, helps them to be smarter. There's so many different things you can provide. Figure out what you're good at, what your talent is. It could even be the ability for you to make weird furniture that's shaped like, I don't know, dildo-shaped furniture. If you can do that, whatever. The world is not limited. I just want you to understand that there's no limit to what you can achieve. You've got to believe and you got to understand the process, and creating the asset may be the best way for you to own a very valuable and very powerful asset for yourself and your family. Until next time, go out there and create those assets, do more, be more, become more on your purpose.